Countries feeling the brunt of climate change are pushing for financial compensation from rich countries, like flood-hit Pakistan. A shocking one-third of the country was underwater during recent heavy rains. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the Foreign Minister, and he's joining me now from the COP27 summit. Welcome back to our program. So let me ask you, Mr. Foreign Minister, do you believe, and you head the group of countries that are asking for damage and loss, I think it's called, do you believe this is the summit where you will get it?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be back on your show again. You're absolutely right. Pakistan is at the moment chair of the G77 group plus China, representing developing countries. And absolutely, actually, we've been successful in adding loss and damage now onto the agenda as a result of COP27. So we'll have adaptation, mitigation, and a third agenda item now as a result of successful negotiations, and loss and damage as a topic will be included. From a Pakistani perspective, from a developing country's perspective, particularly having gone through these historically catastrophic floods, as you mentioned, a third of the country underwater, 1 in 7 people affected. It was only after having experienced this that we suddenly realized that there is no international financial mechanism to address a catastrophe of this scale. So we're hoping with now loss and damage as part of the agenda, we'll be able to work with the international community going forward. And if today, when Pakistan was hit with such a tragedy, if this facility was not available, we're hoping that the next country to be hit by a tragedy of this scale will have some sort of mechanism available as far as loss and damage is concerned.
So, you know, we understand that Pakistan, for instance, has barely no carbon footprint. The rest of the world has a massive carbon footprint in terms of the developed world. And that's one of the rationales that you all demand compensation and damages. I was interested to hear your Minister for Climate Change, Sherry Rahman. She basically said, or at least somebody said, that, you know, the wonderful, fabulous, historical Notre Dame Cathedral, when it burned, in an instant, they raised something like $900 million, euros to repair it. The world promised $100 million a year to mitigate your issues, and it has not provided it. The most it's provided is $90 million. I may be talking in billions, but the fact of the matter is it's a tenth of what you need compared to a cathedral in Paris. My question is, how do you expect to win your case in the public arena?
So as far as loss and damage is concerned, I think rather than emphasizing this as some sort of, compensation, we should look at this as a collective responsibility. And because loss and damage is a fact, I can show a lot of loss and damage in Pakistan. The small island nations will be able to show you the loss and damage that happens to their countries. It's a fact that we have to address, and we all have to work together to achieve that end. I wouldn't frame it personally as compensation or reparations. It is a shared responsibility of the global community to come together to address not only adaptation, not only mitigation, but also loss and damage. You're absolutely right. Pakistan we contribute less than 1%, in fact 0.8% of the carbon footprint, but we are the 8th most climate stressed country on the planet, and in that sense there's an incredible injustice where we didn't contribute as much as other countries perhaps to climate change. We're feeling the brunt of the damages, while the financial commitments, as you mentioned, it's not 100 million, it was 100, I think it was 100 billion per annum, and unfortunately no, that target has not been met. We understand the world is facing incredible economic difficulties as a result of COVID, the war in Ukraine, and a whole host of other issues. So while we still need to sort of emphasize to all those countries that made that pledge that we may have missed the target, or we may be on track to miss the target, but that doesn't mean that we're still not obligated to meet that hard pledge. We also have to come out with out-of-the-box solutions, financial instruments that will allow us to finance adaptation, finance mitigation, and come up with ways to finance loss and damage.